Good afternoon, Peter. We're talking about Law 14 that says the frame matters more than the picture, which is kind of interesting. When I read this chapter, it speaks about perception. Uh, and I think a statement was made that says value does not exist. It's the perception we reach with the expectations we meet. So
Yeah,
value is just a perception. Your thoughts?
I found this a real challenge, and I loved what we had to say about perception last week, and we spoke about are our perceptions sound? Are they on are they based on the truth? And I see this as just as an extension to that. And I was listening to a wonderful podcast this morning from the Unstuck Club. And if folk out there would like to see it, go and have a look at what Henny and I share on Facebook. But there they spoke about what Socrates had to say, know thyself. And I think our challenge is to get to know ourselves, which really gets down to our belief system, our identity. And which again is an important issue.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, Peter, because on Tuesday we had a talk given by yourself that we attended as well as part of a mastermind group. But for me, it almost feels like there's a saying that all roads lead to Rome. I'm starting to almost get this idea to say that all roads of the human being leads to the belief system or the identity. Everything comes back to who I am. My perceptions and how I see things is really driven by what I believe and who I believe I am. And it could be positive, but it could also be very limiting if my belief system is not challenged often enough.
And I think that if we want to live intentionally, we need to know exactly who we are, and then after that, we need to know why we were put on this earth. And I think that's also an important thing. But it's all related to this perception of identity and who we are.
And I don't think we're challenging ourselves enough with that. We spoke on Tuesday, and it wasn't really aimed at creating conversation, but I made a statement on Tuesday morning saying that we need to challenge our belief systems. We need to get out the box. We need to get out of the comfort zone to start challenging what we're doing, because that will ultimately be shaping our belief systems. And if we shape the belief system the way we do, that will have, once again, a roll-on effect, because our perception of how we see things will start changing. So
Yes.
where do we start? I think we start by challenging the status quo. Challenge the belief system on a daily basis. And you do that by getting out of your comfort zone and doing things that you think is impossible, that you can't do. And that will trigger the process of having a different perception.
Would you like to throw a challenge to our listeners about the comfort zone?
I think so. Let's throw something out there. The comfort zone is the area people like to call out the box, etc. What are you doing that you believe right now that you cannot do? Because that's the comfort zone. Learning starts happening there. So let me put the question this way. What are you going to do this week that you don't think you're capable of doing?